mother of cocaine. She is Grisela Blanco, was a 69-year-old mother of four, seen here in one of her many mugshots. As of yesterday, she is dead.
Grisela Blanco, the Black Widow, was assassinated in front of a butcher's when she messed with the wrong cartel boss. And Virginia Hill's life came to a dramatic and mysterious end after she embezzled money from the Chicago outfit.
I never heard any time that he was having any trouble, and all I know that he was worried about that hotel, and I hate the place, and I told him, why didn't he leave it?
And fled to Austria. When women thrive in male-dominated industries, they must tread carefully to avoid provoking men who don't like taking orders from women. While some female mafia members navigate their way cautiously, others step on the wrong toes. Let's check out some of their stories. Maria Licciardi, La Piccolina. Maria Licciardi, famously known as La Piccolina, carved her name into the Italian criminal underworld with a blend of cunning and ruthlessness. As the head of the Licciardi clan, she was a pivotal figure within the Camorra, a powerful and notorious criminal organization based in Naples. Her rise to power was marked by strategic alliances and a keen understanding of the criminal landscape. She aimed to undercut the Delario clan, a formidable rival, by flooding the market with low-quality heroin. This move was not just about profit, it was a calculated attempt to destabilize Delario's hold on the drug supply chain. However, the consequences of her actions were far-reaching and catastrophic. The influx of substandard heroin led to a wave of overdoses, drawing unwanted attention from both law enforcement and rival factions. The Delario clan, known for their own brand of ruthlessness, did not take this encroachment lightly. The streets of Naples became a battleground as both clans vied for supremacy. In a dramatic turn of events, law enforcement swooped in, capitalizing on the chaos and arresting Licciardi. Just like Licciardi, our next female drug lord made a costly mistake. Karen Freedman Hill. Karen Freedman Hill's life took a dramatic turn when she became entangled with the American Mafia through her marriage to Henry Hill, an associate of the notorious Lucchese crime family. Her journey into the underworld was not one of choice but of circumstance. Karen's involvement with the Mafia was initially peripheral, but as her husband's criminal activities deepened, so did her entanglement. Henry Hill's life of crime was marked by a series of high-stakes heists and illicit dealings. Karen's knowledge of the Mafia's inner workings grew. The turning point came when Henry Hill decided to cooperate with authorities, a decision that would have far-reaching consequences for both him and Karen. His betrayal of the Lucchese crime family was a monumental breach of the Mafia's code of silence, and it placed them both in grave danger. While Henry was the primary informant, Karen's role was also significant. Her insights into the Mafia's operations and her willingness to support Henry's decision were crucial to the investigation. The couple became targets, and their lives were in constant jeopardy. Karen was thrust into the witness protection program alongside Henry. While Karen turned on her criminal organization, our next Mafia boss mishandled cocaine. Sandra Avila Beltron, Queen of the Pacific. Sandra Avila Beltron, known as the Queen of the Pacific, was a formidable figure in drug trafficking, commanding respect and fear in equal measure. Her moniker was not merely a title but a reflection of her influence over the Pacific drug routes, which were crucial for the smuggling operations between Colombia and Mexico. Avila Beltron's reputation was built on her ability to navigate the treacherous waters of the drug trade, forging alliances with some of the most powerful cartels in Latin America. However, even the most meticulous plans can unravel, and for Avila Beltron, a single misstep proved to be her undoing. The mishandling of a major cocaine shipment led to its seizure by authorities. This blunder not only resulted in a significant financial loss, but also damaged her standing within the criminal hierarchy. The cartel, which had once viewed her as a reliable ally, now saw her as a liability. In 2007, Avila Beltron's luck ran out. She was arrested and faced charges of laundering money for billions of dollars worth of drugs smuggled from Colombia to Mexico. While Avila Beltron was arrested, our next boss was assassinated on the streets. Grisela Blanco, Black Widow. Grisela Blanco, infamously known as the Black Widow, was a dominant force in the cocaine trade that swept through Miami from the 1970s to the early 2000s. Her reign was marked by a level of violence and ruthlessness that set her apart from her contemporaries. Blanco's operations were vast, and her influence extended across continents, making her one of the most feared figures in the drug underworld. She orchestrated a sophisticated network that smuggled cocaine from Colombia into the United States, reaping immense profits and establishing her as a key player in the the drug trade. As Blanco's power grew, so did the number of her adversaries. Her ruthless approach to business and her penchant for violence made her a target for rivals within the cartel. Fearing for her life, Blanco fled to California. However, it wasn't so easy to get away. In 2012, Grisela Blanco's violent life came to a dramatic end. As she left a butcher shop in Medellin, she was gunned down by a motorcycle assassin, a method of execution she had once popularized. While the next crime boss wasn't assassinated, she was forced into hiding after stepping on the wrong toes. Rosetta Calo. Rosetta Calo emerged as a formidable figure within the Italian criminal landscape, stepping into the spotlight during her brother Raphael Calo's imprisonment. Raffaele, the head of the Nuova Camorra Organizzata (NCO), had built a powerful organization aimed at renewing the Camorra's influence. With her brother behind bars, Rosetta took on the mantle of leadership, determined to consolidate power and maintain the NCO's dominance. To expand the NCO's territories and strengthen its hold over the criminal enterprises in the region, Rosetta annoyed a lot of drug lords. She sought to encroach on territories controlled by the rival Nuova Familia. Rosetta's efforts to consolidate power were not without resistance. The Nuova Familia, wary of her growing influence, viewed her encroachment as a direct threat to their own operations. The tension between the two factions escalated, and Rosetta found herself at the center of a brewing conflict. Her attempts to put an end to the bloody war between the NCO and their rivals, alongside Cutolo's right-hand man Vincenzo Casillo, were met with fierce opposition. She was forced into hiding. Eventually, Rosetta was arrested. While she was sent to prison, her fate was far better than that of the next boss on this list. Claudia Ooa Felix, Empress of Anthrax. Claudia Ooa Felix, known as the Empress of Anthrax, was a striking figure in the world of organized crime, capturing attention with her rise to leadership within the Sinaloa cartel. Her ascent to power came after the arrest of Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, alias Chino Anthrax, who was a prominent leader of the cartel's hit squad. With his capture, Ooa Felix stepped into a leadership role, commanding respect and fear within the cartel's ranks. Ooa Felix's rise was marked by her bold and unapologetic flaunting of connections to the Sinaloa cartel. She embraced social media as a platform to showcase her lavish lifestyle and her ties to the cartel's elite. Her posts often featured luxury cars, designer clothing, and extravagant parties, painting a picture of a life steeped in wealth and power. Her audacity extended beyond social media as she openly mocked the Jalisco New Generation cartel, a rising rival in the Mexican drug trade. Unfortunately, such boldness came with inherent risks, as it drew the attention and ire of those who saw her as a threat. She was eventually found dead under suspicious circumstances. Our next crime boss wasn't killed, but she surrendered to the feds when things got heated. Marjorie Shakan Rosell, Queen of the South. Marjorie Shakan Rosell, widely recognized as the Queen of the South, was a formidable figure in the realm of drug trafficking, known for her strategic acumen and extensive network. Her operations were primarily based in Guatemala, where she played a pivotal role in facilitating the movement of cocaine from South America to the United States. Shakan Rosell's influence extended beyond her home country as she collaborated with powerful Mexican organized crime groups, including the Zetas and the Sinaloa cartel. Her involvement in the drug trade was characterized by her ability to forge alliances with some of the most notorious criminal organizations in the region. Shakan Rosell's connections to the Lorenzana clan further solidified her position as a key player in the narcotics industry. However, Shakan Rosell's ambitions led her into a deadly conflict with Los Zetas. Her attempt to block Los Zetas from accessing key smuggling routes in Central America ignited a fierce and bloody confrontation. Faced with these mounting challenges, Shakan Rosell made the strategic decision to surrender to U.S. authorities in 2014. Shakan may have surrendered, but the next criminal we will be talking about handed over power. Stephanie St. Clair, Queen of Harlem. Stephanie St. Clair, known as the Queen of Harlem, was a pioneering figure in the early 20th century criminal underworld of New York City. As a racketeer, she built a formidable empire in Harlem, running numerous enterprises that included illegal gambling operations. St. Clair's reign coincided with a period of significant change in the criminal landscape, particularly following the end of Prohibition. The Mafia, seeking to expand its influence, set its sights on Harlem's lucrative numbers racket. However, St. Clair was not one to be easily easily intimidated. She fiercely resisted the Mafia's encroachment on her operations. Her most notable adversary was Dutch Schultz, a notorious mobster with ambitions to dominate Harlem's numbers game. Schultz's attempts to muscle in on St. Clair's territory were met with staunch resistance. As the pressure from Schultz and law enforcement mounted, St. Clair recognized the need to adapt to the changing environment. To ensure the survival of her enterprises and to protect herself from further threats, she made the strategic decision to transition her criminal business to Ellsworth "Bumpy" Johnson, her trusted chief enforcer. St. Clair was able to escape, but the next notorious woman on this list let her grief get the best of her. Judy Moran. Judy Moran, the matriarch of the Moran criminal family, became a central figure in the infamous Melbourne gangland killings that gripped Australia in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Her life was steeped in the violent and treacherous world of organized crime, where loyalty and betrayal often walked hand in hand. As the head of a notorious crime family, Moran was no stranger to the brutal realities of the underworld. The Melbourne gangland killings were a series of violent confrontations between rival criminal factions, and the Moran family was deeply involved in this deadly conflict. The catalyst for Judy Moran's involvement was the tragic loss of her sons, who were killed in the ongoing gang wars. Driven by grief and a desire for vengeance, Moran orchestrated a campaign of retribution against the Carlton crew, whom she held responsible for her sons' deaths. However, the path of vengeance is fraught with peril, and Moran's actions had far-reaching consequences. In a dramatic turn of events, Judy Moran was arrested and charged with orchestrating the murder of a rival gang member. Judy Moran isn't the only one who allowed grief clouds to get judgment, as you'll see shortly. Asunta Maresa, Pupetta. Asunta Maresa, famously known as Pupetta, was a legendary figure in the Italian Camorra, a criminal organization with deep roots in Naples. Her story is one of passion, vengeance, and defiance, set against the backdrop of a male-dominated underworld. Pupetta's notoriety was fueled by a need for retribution that would forever alter the course of her life and the fate of her family. It all started with the murder of her husband, Pasquale Simonetti, a prominent figure within the Camorra. Consumed by grief and a burning desire for justice, Pupetta took matters into her own hands. In a bold and unprecedented move, she publicly confronted and killed Antonio Esposito, the rival boss responsible for orchestrating her husband's murder. This act of vengeance was a direct challenge to the traditional mafia protocols, which dictated that such matters be handled within the confines of the organization. The feud that followed engulfed her family in a cycle of violence and retribution, leading to their marginalization within the Camorra. Pupetta was also arrested and sentenced to prison for her crime. Pupetta went to prison for her crime, but at least she wasn't killed. Virginia Hill. Virginia Hill was born in Lipscomb, Alabama, in the early 20th century. Her journey into the criminal underworld began in the 1930s when she became a courier for the infamous Chicago outfit. Known for her striking beauty and sharp wit, Virginia quickly rose through the ranks, earning the trust of some of the most powerful mobsters of the time. Virginia's charm and allure made her a favorite among the mobsters, but it was her ambition that set her apart. She was not content with merely being a pawn in the mafia's game. She wanted more. This ambition led her to embezzle money from the Chicago outfit. Virginia fled to Europe, seeking refuge from the wrath of the mob. In Europe, Virginia lived a life of luxury, mingling with the elite and enjoying the fruits of her ill-gotten gains. However, her past was never far behind. Her life came to a mysterious and untimely end in 1966. Found dead in Austria, her death was officially ruled a suicide, but many suspected otherwise. Murder isn't the only tactic criminal organizations use against members. Sometimes they turn you over to the police. Enadina Arellano Felix. Enadina Arellano Felix de Toledo was known for her strategic mind and business acumen, especially in the drug trafficking industry. As a key member of the Tijuana cartel, Enadina played a pivotal role in transforming the organization into a powerful criminal empire. Alongside her brothers, she co-founded the cartel, but it was her unique approach to leadership that set her apart. Unlike her siblings, who often resorted to violence, Enadina focused on the logistical and financial aspects of the cartel's operations, earning her the reputation of a logistical accountant. Her role within the Tijuana cartel was marked by her attempts to broker peace with rival organizations, most notably the Sinaloa cartel. Enadina recognized the potential benefits of alliances and sought to forge connections with other criminal entities. By seeking peace with the Sinaloa cartel, Enadina aimed to reduce conflict and increase profits. However, Enadina's activities did not go unnoticed by law enforcement. In June 2000, the United States Department of the Treasury sanctioned her under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Resignation Act. Some believed opposers who didn't like her actions sold her out to the United States. Unfortunately, Enadina isn't the only one who ended up in United States custody, as you'll see shortly. Raphaela Delario. Raphaela Delario, famously known as the Big Female Kitten, carved out a notorious reputation in the Italian criminal underworld. Raphaela's rise to power was marked by her involvement in extortion and counterfeit money trafficking rings, where she demonstrated a keen understanding of the criminal enterprise and a ruthless approach to maintaining control. As a leader, Raphaela orchestrated complex operations that involved extorting businesses and trafficking counterfeit currency. Her ability to manage these operations with precision made her a formidable figure in the Camorra. She was known for her strategic mind and her willingness to use violence to achieve her goals. Raphaela's reign was not without its challenges. Her involvement in the lucrative drug trade in Naples made her a target for rival gangs, who saw her as a threat to their own operations. In a dramatic turn of events, Raphaela survived an assassination attempt, sustaining gunshot wounds 3 years into her leadership. This didn't stop her from leading her clan. Unfortunately, she was eventually arrested, marking the end of her reign. Raphaela, just like our next crime boss, went through what most women in male-dominated fields go through. Maria Chata Leon. Maria Chata Leon, a formidable figure in the criminal underworld, ruled over a sprawling empire that extended its influence across borders. As a mother of 13 children, Maria's life was a complex tapestry of familial responsibilities, intertwined with her leadership of a notorious criminal organization. Her empire was deeply entrenched in various illegal activities, most notably human smuggling, which became a cornerstone of her operations. This illicit trade involved transporting individuals across borders, often under perilous conditions. This aspect of her empire brought her into direct conflict with rival gangs who viewed her operations as a threat to their own interests. These rivalries often erupted into violent confrontations as Maria fiercely defended her territory and refused to back down in the face of opposition. The authorities also viewed her as a significant threat, not only because of her involvement in human smuggling, but also due to her connections to other criminal enterprises. Federal agents, armed with evidence gathered through extensive investigations, launched a coordinated operation to apprehend Maria and dismantle her criminal network. While Maria was a mother who protected her family, the next mafia lady on the list sold out her husband. Anna Genovesi. Anna Genovesi, an Italian-American businesswoman, played a significant role in the Italian mob. As the second wife of Vito Genovesi, a powerful New York Mafia boss, Anna was deeply entrenched in the criminal activities of the Genovesi crime family and the Costello crime syndicate. Her involvement in the mob was not merely as a passive observer. She was actively engaged in the family's operations, which included narcotics trafficking, casinos, labor rackets, and even dog and horse racing ventures. However, her marriage to Vito Genovesi was fraught with tension and conflict, ultimately leading to a highly publicized divorce. During the proceedings, Anna made the bold decision to testify against the mob, exposing its secrets and operations. Anna's revelations were not just a betrayal of her husband, but a direct threat to the entire criminal organization. The implications of Anna's actions were profound, both for her safety and for the mafia. By breaking the code of silence, she placed herself in danger. Recognizing the risks she faced, law enforcement offered Anna protection in exchange for her cooperation. Anna may have betrayed her clan despite her ex-husband, but the next boss we will talk about was loyal until the end. Maria Dolores Estes Zulueta. Maria Dolores Estes Zulueta, widely known as Lola La Chata, stands as a pioneering figure in the history of drug trafficking in Mexico. Emerging in the 1930s, Lola La Chata became the first major female drug trafficker, carving out a formidable empire in a male-dominated underworld. Her operations primarily involved the trafficking of marijuana, morphine, and heroin substances that were in high demand and brought her immense wealth and influence. Lola La Chata's notoriety extended far beyond Mexico's borders as her operations reached into the United States and other countries. Her reputation as a formidable drug trafficker was well known. Her fame and influence were such that she became a target for law enforcement and rivals determined to bring her to justice. Lola's operations were meticulously planned, and she employed a network of loyal associates to carry out her orders. She evaded capture for a long time. However, the relentless pursuit by authorities eventually led to her arrest and imprisonment. Lola La Chata's empire came to an end with her death in Lecumberri Penitentiary, a notorious prison in Mexico City. Dolores Estes may have started local fighting, but the next lady on this list was responsible for the Mafia war. Giovanna Netta Bagarella. Giovanna Netta Bagarella was deeply entrenched in the criminal activities of the Corleonesi clan. As the wife of Salvatore Toto Riina, one of the most feared and ruthless mafia bosses in history, Netta was an active participant in the mafia's operations. Her marriage to Riina placed her at the epicenter of the Corleoneses' reign of terror, a period marked by unprecedented violence and bloodshed. Netta's involvement in mafia activities was significant, as she played a crucial role in supporting her husband's criminal endeavors. Her loyalty to Riina and the Mafia was impressive. The Corleonesi, under Riina's leadership, waged a brutal campaign of violence against both rival gangsters and the Italian state. This campaign, often referred to as the Mafia War, was characterized by a series of high-profile assassinations and bombings aimed at eliminating rivals and intimidating law enforcement. The consequences of the Bagarella family's actions were severe, both legally and socially. In January 2007, Netta faced the repercussions of her involvement in the Mafia's violent activities. She was charged and convicted for damages to the family of Judge Borsellino. Bagarella may have started the Mafia War, but our next female boss was a renowned human smuggler. Chung CH Ping. Chung CH Ping, infamously known as Sister Ping, was a prominent figure in human smuggling, operating a vast network that brought thousands of Chinese immigrants to the United States. Her operations, which spanned from 1984 to 2000, were marked by their scale and sophistication, making her one of the most notorious human smugglers of her time. Sister Ping's decision to run her smuggling operations independently reflected her entrepreneurial spirit, but it was a source of conflict. She refused to collaborate with established Chinatown gangs, such as the Fukching, which were known for their brutality and control over illegal activities in the area. Instead, she hired armed thugs from these gangs to transport and guard her customers once they arrived in the United States. However, Sister Ping's growing power and influence did not go unnoticed. The tension between Sister Ping and the gangs escalated into open conflict as they sought to undermine her operations and reassert their control over the lucrative smuggling routes. These rivalries led to a series of disruptions to her smuggling network. While the next cartel boss was loyal to her clan, her own brother betrayed her by becoming a state witness. Herminia Giuliano. Herminia Giuliano, known by her nickname Celeste due to her striking blue eyes, was a prominent figure in the Giuliano clan of the Camorra, a powerful criminal organization based in Naples. The Giuliano clan, notorious for its influence and control over various illegal activities, was a dominant force in the district of Forcella. Herminia's involvement in the clan's operations was significant, as she played a crucial role in maintaining the family's criminal enterprises. Her rise to prominence within the clan came after the arrest of her brother, Luigi Giuliano, in the early 2000s. Herminia's tenure as the head of the clan was marked by her strategic acumen and determination to uphold the family's legacy. She managed the clan's various illegal activities, which included extortion, drug trafficking, and other criminal enterprises. The turning point for Herminia and the Giuliano clan came when her brother Luigi decided to become a pentito, or a state witness, in September 2002. Luigi's betrayal had profound consequences for Herminia. As the clan's leader, she found herself increasingly isolated and vulnerable. While Herminia was isolated from the group, the last crime boss on this list lost her beloved son. Anam Mata, Black Widow. Anam Mata, infamously known as the Black Widow of the Camorra, was a formidable force in the Italian criminal underworld. Anna's involvement in organized crime was cemented by the death of her husband, Gennaro Mochia, who was killed in the 1970s during a violent conflict with rival clans. Following his death, Anna took the reins of the Mochia clan, steering it through turbulent times and expanding its influence beyond its traditional strongholds. Under Anna's leadership, the Mochia clan flourished, branching out from its base in the Campania region to establish a broader criminal network. However, the expansion of the Mochia clan under Anna's control was not without its challenges. The criminal landscape was fraught with rivalries and power struggles, and the Mochia clan's growing influence inevitably led to conflicts with other factions. One of the most significant and devastating events during Anna's reign was the murder of her favorite son, Vincenzo Mochia, known as Angioletto. It ignited a bloody war between the Mochia clan and their rivals. The war not only strained the resources and alliances of the Mochia clan, but also drew increased attention from law enforcement, who were determined to quell the escalating violence. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.